Thank you for the introduction. Good afternoon. My name is Junghoon Park. I'm a manager for the international strategies at Korea University, and I hope you had enjoyable meals in the lunch. It is my great pleasure to be here and to be able to share ideas on how KU traditionally managed its international partnerships and how it is changed now. My presentation is basically comprised of 4 sections. I'll first introduce our university very briefly, and I'll talk about traditional partnerships at KU and new trends, and I'll conclude my presentation with closing remarks. Here's a brief history of the university. The university was founded in 1905 and therefore celebrated its centennial in 2005. And in 2003, for the preparation of the Centennial celebration, we have initiated the Global KU Project, which includes master plan of the university's globalization. It also is the foundation of KU's traditional partnerships model, and it has been driving force for KU's aggressive internationalization. One of the goals of the Global KU Project was to increase courses in the English. And in 2002, we only had 10% of our courses delivered in the English language, but throughout the Global KU project, we were able to reach to 40% in general, 40% in undergraduate level, and 60% in postgraduate level. And internationally, we were engaging in 4 major international associations of universities. First, Association of Pacific Rim Universities, APRU, and Universitas 21, and ICUBE, it's an international consortium of universities for the study of biodiversity and the environment, and also the API, and we're currently hosting API Secretariat on our campus. This slide shows the KU's global network. We have partnerships with 839 universities in 90 countries. The universities marked on the map is institutions that we have massive student exchange partnerships or visiting student programs or where we have overseas facilities. For example, at RHUL and UBC we have international dormitory, and at Renmin University we have a Korea University Hall where we have branch offices. That's the end of the brief introduction to the university, and I hope it was brief enough. Now, let me talk about KU's KU's traditional partnerships. But before we get into the point, I'd like to mention that since international partnership is kind of tool to achieve internationalization of the universities, we need to think about what our colleagues really think about internationalization. So in 2006, the IAU, International Association of Universities, organized a conference in Peking. The theme was internationalization of higher education, new directions and new challenges. The primary reason that they think that the universities internationalize is to increase student and faculty international knowledge capacity and production, and strengthen research and knowledge capacity and production fellows, and to increase international profile and reputation, and contribute to academic quality, broaden and diversify the source of faculty and students, and promote curriculum development and innovation. Those are considered one of the major reasons to internationalize the universities. And to sum this up, I think it is safe to say that the purpose of internationalization is to achieve academic excellence and to increase knowledge capacity by close collaboration among universities around the world. Well, keeping that in mind, at Korea University, we also have been working very hard to achieve these goals. And as you can see, the numbers of outgoing, incoming exchange students, as well as degree-seeking students, has been increased dramatically for the past 10 years. Well, the fonts are too small, so you can refer to the chart on the left. As of 2012, we have 560 bilateral agreements. And if we include the ISEP and SAF members, the Study Abroad Foundation members, then the number gets bigger. It's 839 universities. But the thing is that most of these partnerships are focused on student exchanges. According to the survey I've shown in the past slide, it's about achieving academic excellence and to increase knowledge capacity. But traditional model of Korean universities partnership is mainly about giving students opportunities to study abroad or study on our campus. If we go to NAFSA or EAIE or API, the most popular topic that coordinators from around the world like to ask is, can we send our students? I don't hear a lot of, can we do joint museum exhibitions, or are you interested in the joint official development assistant project? Of course, since the main mission of the International Affairs Office is to expand its student mobilities, there's a certain limit to the extent that they can talk about these kind of issues. But still, considering the Office of International Affairs, one of the mission is that they are gateway to the university's internationalization. So we have to find a way to diversify our university's global activities. And I'll look into this issue more deeply in the new trends section. One of the advanced type of international collaboration can be dual degree programs, since it requires a lot of effort to establish. And out of 560 bilateral agreements, KU still has less than 10 dual degree programs. I know that it's being developed a lot, but since so far this is what we have. And one of the interesting programs that we have is the S-Cubed Asia MBA program. The three universities are all founded in 1905, so they have same foundation year. And the location of the university, the city starts with S. So Shanghai, Singapore, Seoul, so it's S-Cubed Asia MBA. So when China, Japan, Korean government issued a guidelines for Campus Asia projects, it was introduced as one of the most successful programs that's currently running around the world. As shown in the previous slides, KU has 560 bilateral agreements. Out of them, only 350 agreements are activated, and most of them are about student exchanges. The reason why we have so many partnerships that are not activated can be explained as below. As university rankings become a major issue in Korea, I guess it's becoming an issue all around the world, we're focusing only on the categories that can be reflected in the university rankings, namely number of outbound students and inbound students. So we made a lot of agreements in a short period of time without giving enough consideration of how to activate it. So there comes a lot of MOUs every day, but we don't really think about how to activate them. So if a student doesn't want to go, we just leave it like that. So the administration at KU recognized these issues, and we're now in a process to find a way to tackle them. And I'll talk about this in the new trends section over here. Now, this is what's happening at KU. KU decided to turn its focus from quantitative growth to qualitative growth. As you see it, student mobility is now just a part of a whole strategic partnership scheme. We also added research collaboration or lab-to-lab collaboration. We're encouraging college and departmental level participation. We're planning to organize joint seminar conference more often and also join social activities. Usually most MOUs include these kind of categories, but the only difference is that we actually do it now. And in the new trends section, I'll introduce some cases that how KU diversified its international activities. One of the examples of the results of the strategic partnership scheme is the one that we have with University of Tübingen. We already had existing partnerships with University of Tübingen. It was only about the student exchanges. But as the University of Tübingen has an excellent Korean Studies department, both universities agreed to establish a Tübingen Center for Korean Studies at Korea University. So the center was actually established in May 2012, and will mainly cooperate with Research Institute of Korean Studies, RICS. And it has three major functions. We have joint conferences, so they will organize joint conferences about Korean studies in 2013, and we are doing faculty exchanges, so the faculties exchanged, given a lecture at the host institution. Also, they're working as a liaison office with German research institutions such as Max Planck Institute and German Academic Exchange Service. This is the photo from the opening ceremony for Tübingen Center for Korean Studies. We've invited German ambassador to Korea and chairperson of the German Academic Exchange Service, and the event itself was really successful. If the partnership with the University of Tübingen is advanced type of bilateral agreement, the Free University of Berlin is a kind of multilateral partnership. It was suggested from the Free University of Berlin to form a Korean network, which is one of their primary network, and 5 Korean universities described in the PPT agreed to join in the network. Actually, 4 Korean universities visited Berlin last year to discuss in the details of how we are going to operate the network. I saw that Ms. Cho from this morning was participating in the meeting with me, and lots of topics were raised, such as someone for PhD students, and we're trying to organize joint annual symposia. Lastly, I think this photo explains how KU is changed in its protocol to achieve the strategic partnership scheme. When King's College London delegation visited Korea University last October, we've invited around 25 deans and chairs of major institutes, major research institutes, for in-depth discussion. And you can see me and my colleague, Mr. Walter Foreman, is working very hard in the back of the seats. And these are areas of possible cooperation that was discussed during the meeting. And as it shows, the areas of focus were not only about student mobility, but also various activities, including joint exhibitions and social service and joint dual degree programs. As a result of this meeting, we're organizing joint museum exhibitions in Europe in 2014, and I think I can say that the partnership became very comprehensive as a result of our efforts. So far, I've talked about KU's traditional model for partnerships and new trends. As aforementioned, the purpose of internationalization is to achieve academic excellence and to increase knowledge capacity by close collaboration among higher education institutions around the world. Korea University is striving to balance what it thinks the essential pillar for internationalization, namely mobility and joint collaborations and joint academic programs. What we've realized from the past experience is that the number of agreements are less important than what we do with them. And if we have clear vision when we sign the agreements, I think it will help us to achieve academic excellence. And to do that, the role of Office of International Affairs has to be transformed or expanded from being traditional center for student exchanges to gateways to universities' overall internationalization. And it is my humble wish that the contents of my presentation delivers some useful information so it can help you when you get back to your place. And this concludes my presentation. Thank you for listening.